Welcome to the Ian McNaughton Show. My name is Ian McNaughton. Thank you for joining us today. Kind of a little different visual if you're watching on YouTube. We got the camera up in a different spot. I hope you enjoy it. This is the Rugby podcast coming out February 24th on Tuesday. We had the UFC discussion among heavyweights and cards coming up on the Ian McNaughton Show. That was a really good podcast. You should take a listen to that. And then on Monday, we recapped the O'Reilly Auto Parts 253 Daytona Road Course race. That was on the racing portion of the show. Really good episode, really fun episode. Go take a listen to that as well if you haven't got the opportunity. Also coming out today on the Speak Your Piece podcast network, we got an interview with Hunter Werner. We discussed some other sports as well as the mailbag question. Great pod. A lot of great stuff coming out these last few days. Be sure to listen to it. And then also, if you haven't already, go read speakyourpiece.ca. That's where I'm doing most of my blogging now. On Sunday, I came out with a piece on why it makes sense for the Sabres to trade Jack Eichel. And it was a good read. It was a good article. You should go read it. Maybe you'll like it. So be sure to check out our podcast from this past week. Go take a look at the website. And of course, follow us on all of our platforms. So we're on Instagram at SpeakYourPiece. We're on Instagram at SYP Rugby. We're on Twitter at SpeakYourPiece3. We have a YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's where you're probably watching this video if you're watching it. A lot of great stuff. Lots happening with Speak Your Piece. So be sure to tell your friends. Tell your friends about us because we're doing some great shit. And your friends are probably interested in all of this. So with that being said, let's get on with the show and let's have a great time discussing some rugby. All right, welcome back to the Ian McNaughton Show. My name is Ian McNaughton. Thank you for joining us, sticking with us. We got a good show today discussing rugby, kind of recapping the week that was in rugby while previewing the upcoming week. We got some great stuff ahead, so let's get into it. Let's talk about the Madrid Seven. So in case you didn't know, this was kind of an interregional preparation tournament for the Tokyo Olympics taking place at, I think it was a university stadium in Madrid. I can't remember, but anyways, so basically, I think on the men's side, all the teams participating, Argentina, Kenya, US, and Spain, had qualified, and then there were, I can't remember how many teams that were on the women's side that hadn't qualified. I think just the two, and I think it was, or maybe it was just three, with Russia, France, and Poland, who hadn't qualified on the women's side, and Russia and France met in the final on Sunday in Madrid. So with that being said, let's talk about some of the notable events from this past weekend in Madrid. A significant loss for Team USA over the weekend as Perry Baker suffered a serious injury, reportedly fracturing his leg after chasing a loose ball against Kenya. Really tough loss. I love Perry Baker, one of the fastest dudes on the circuit, and obviously losing him is a massive blow. I'm trying to remember back. I want to say it was 2019, I think, at the Rugby Sevens, and when I watched him here in Vancouver on the World Rugby Sevens series, and Baker was dealing with injuries for most of the rugby season, and it was just down to Carlin Isles, and clearly the U.S. were not the same team without Baker, and I'm sure that's probably what we'll see again this time around. So Baker's 34, and these injuries are always difficult to recover from, whether you're 34 or not. It doesn't help that, Baker's maybe on the back nine of his career, I'm guessing. He'll surely miss the Olympics in Tokyo this summer, which, again, huge blow for the United States, who was looking to get gold at the Summer Olympics. And maybe he'll be back for the end of October, early November events that they have scheduled in Singapore and Hong Kong. But realistically, he's probably out a year by what it sounds like. And so if that's the case, what happens with the Sevens is that they usually start their season around late November, early December. They usually start it with like the Cape Town series and the Dubai Sevens, and I maybe Baker's back for that. He might be back in time for the Vancouver Sevens next year. That would be cool if he got to come back and play, even if it's in the U.S. Sevens. If he got to play again next year, take a year to recover and get healthy, that'd be really nice for the U.S. But yeah, they're gonna be there. It's gonna be tough without Baker. Carlin Isles is gonna be a guy that they're gonna rely upon. Obviously, Madison Hughes. Yeah, it's not easy, but we'll see if the U.S. can make it without Baker. Best wishes to Perry Baker. Hope he gets well soon. Rooting for you, big guy. Kudos to Argentina and Kenya for the strong showing this weekend. Argentina finished first over Kenya. Kenya is they're growing as a sevens team. You could tell they're not quite the elite team, but they're getting better. They're hovering around like a top 10 team in the world on the seven circuit. And this weekend in Madrid just solidified that. Hopefully they can continue for the rest of the season playing like this, because it's just good to see good teams do well. Like, it's just good to see teams do well, and especially Kenya, as they're rebuilding and they're growing and they're trying to get better. Really fun to watch. Both Argentina and Kenya are teams that you're going to have to look out for the rest of the year, assuming we get to the tournament in Tokyo at the end of July. That would be really cool if we got to see that. And yeah, on the women's side, Russia beat France in the final. The U.S. beat Poland for third place, and Spain beat Kenya for fifth place. It's a fascinating finish on the women's side, considering neither side has actually qualified for the Olympics yet. They'll both get an opportunity to do so in Monaco on June 19th and 20th. That's when the final Olympic qualifying tournament happens, and both France and Russia are scheduled to take part in that. And I believe Poland are too. I have to go back and check, but I believe Russia and Poland are definitely, or Russia and France are definitely taking part in that, and Poland might also be taking part in it. But all around, a really good weekend for sevens. It's nice to have sevens back in my life. I love rugby sevens. I think it's a really cool sport. It's kind of like rugby on crack. It's just fast. It's exhilarating. It's awesome to watch, and feel good to have a little bit of normalcy in that regard. No fans were at the games. Obviously, they took place, I think, again at a university stadium in Madrid. But nice to have the sevens back in that regard. Speaking of things that are great to have in my life, Six Nations back this weekend. Rugby Union. We got 2-3 games scheduled as of. I'm recording this on Tuesday. As of Tuesday, all 3 games are scheduled to go. Italy hosts Ireland Saturday, 6:15 a.m. my time here in Vancouver. Wales hosts England Saturday at 8:45 a.m. on Saturday. And then France hosts Scotland Sunday at 7 a.m. I have an asterisk next to that, pending the France COVID cases that they have within their team. And I guess we should start with that first. So France's cases are up to 14 reportedly, including Antoine Dupont and head coach Fabien Galtier. It's obviously concerning, as yesterday Captain Charles Olivon had tested positive for COVID. I don't know what things are looking like for France this weekend. Maybe they'll just get their U20 team to come up and play. It's very much it's very much a concern when you see an outbreak like this, just in general. And now, when we tried to make things we tried to make things work and tried to be obviously aware of COVID and tried to be alert of stuff like this. And I mean, we obviously want Six Nations to be playing. We obviously want the sports to be playing, but with health scares like this, I don't know. It's a very tough decision. We might just see the French youth team play, and maybe we'll postpone it a week. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is if you're rescheduling this game. I guess we'll know more on Wednesday. So basically, anything I say here could just be irrelevant. Assuming the game goes, I think it's going to be a really close game. Scotland's obviously really talented. They let one slip away against Wales, almost 2 weeks now, week and a half ago, which is really disappointing because they played against England really well at Twickenham, and then they had a 17-3 lead against Wales, and then they just let it go away. They just let it slip. So it's really disappointing, really upsetting to see Scotland lose that game to Wales. And this could be a really big momentum killer for France if Scotland can go into Paris and win this game. Obviously, Stuart Hogg has been playing really well. Finn Russell has been playing really well. I think Adam Hastings is now back on the main roster. He might get some action this weekend if they play. I'm excited to see Scotland, hopefully with a full roster and a healthy roster, go up against France this weekend, even if France doesn't have their full plethora of players. Let's move it over to, I guess we'll go to Rome. We'll move to Rome and we'll discuss Italy against Ireland. These teams just played in October. Ireland won in Dublin 50-17. Neither team has had a win so far, and there is some upset potential if Italy can put together a solid 80 minutes. Obviously Italy is missing Jake Pellegrini. He's probably the best player on Italy right now, although Paolo Gabrizzi is making an argument for his case. I mean, terrific play, terrific passing, great ball movement. And some outstanding communication. That's really what I've noticed about Gabrizzi in the last 2 weeks. It's just how well he's communicating, how well he's directing people, and that people are listening to him. Like, people I gathered seem to respect Gabrizzi on the Italian squad. And he, for a young kid, he's maybe about my age. He's doing a terrific job at directing all these people. So kudos to Paolo Gabrizzi. Hopefully, they can be competitive and make this game interesting against Ireland tonight, or on Saturday, but who knows? We'll see. The last time Italy upset Ireland was 2013 when Italy won 22-15 at the Stadio Olimpico in Rome. And Ireland are a good team. Like, I think Ireland is a good team, and they just need to play better. Like, they haven't put together a solid full 80 minutes of action, and maybe that comes this weekend against the Italians. But if Ireland slips up, there's a good chance that Italy can take advantage and Italy can make them pay. I think Ireland will win. I want to pick Italy, but I think Ireland realistically will win. And if Italy had its full roster, it might be a different story, but we'll see. Hopefully it's just a really competitive and fun game to watch. So, arguably the biggest game of the weekend, Wales hosting England. Again, Saturday, 8:45 a.m. Pacific time, my time in Vancouver. Wales is somehow 2-0 in the Six Nations. They beat Ireland at home. They narrowly escaped defeat against Scotland in Edinburgh. Great stuff from Wales early on. I don't know if anybody was expecting that. The battle between wingers this weekend is going to be sensational with Louis Rees-Zammit and Johnny May. I can't even put into words how incredible that's going to be. Both talented, speedy, fast wingers who, if you give them any sort of space, look out. It's going to be deadly. And that's going to be the key to, I think, whoever wins this game is whose winger has the best performance, whether it's Rees-Zammit or it's Johnny May. Who knows? I'm probably going to be mind blown at how close this will be. England, for them, I thought they looked too comfortable against Italy. I thought they should have challenged Italy more at Twickenham and at home and against Italy. But so it'll be interesting to see if they take Wales lightly, if they look too comfortable against Wales. They can't afford to get down early against Wales. Like, they really can't give Wales an opportunity to win this game. Like, England has to put the foot down and just get it done. And maybe there's a chance that Wales is actually a legit team. And part of me is kind of thinking that Wales is just playing with some house money, but it would be wrong to count them out. Like, they're still a good team. We'll just see if they're a legit team who has the potential to be a Grand Slam team. Who knows? It's going to be really close. It's going to be really exciting. All these games, assuming France and Scotland goes on, all these games are going to be really exciting to watch. And finally, I should just talk about this quickly. So Top League Rugby in Japan kicked off this weekend. If you don't know what Top League Rugby is, it's the top rugby league in Japan. 16 teams are split into two conferences, the Red Conference and the White Conference. The season will go all the way until the final on May 23rd. Spectators are allowed to attend, but they also are limited. I think it's between 20 to 25% of attendance in most cases. Great rugby league. I was watching a few of the clips this weekend. I'd highly suggest anyone who's interested to go and watch and check it out. Most of their games or most of their clips can be found on YouTube. That's where I found mine. So go take a look at Top League Rugby if you're interested. And if you're wondering if there's any stars who are playing in Top League Rugby, there is. Most notably, Beauden Barrett, the New Zealand fly half. He scored a try for Suntory Sun Goliath in their 75-7 win over Mitsubishi Dynaboars. So, Japan Top League Rugby, go check it out. Great league. Beauden Barrett's playing in it, so you know it's a great league. I just wanted to give that plug because it was really fun and it was really exciting. So go check that out as well. That's the rugby pod for this week. We'll probably have something coming up next week after the Six Nations, and we'll maybe discuss France, Scotland a little bit more. Thank you very much for listening. Hope you enjoy this. Again, follow us at SpeakURPeace on Instagram, at SYP Rugby. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at SpeakYourPeace3. Check out the new website, speakyourpeace.ca. Hoodies, we got hoodies coming. Pre-order your hoodies. We'll share the link to that. Again, thank you very much for listening. Please tell your friends. All your support is greatly appreciated, and we can't wait to do this again. Peace out.